What is going on? Matt O'Leary back with another video, and today I want to recap training camp and talk about the biggest storylines from today. Remember, Matt O'Leary NY on social media. Tonight I'll be going live with Green Bean and Ryan over on the Talkin' Jets channel from 8 to 10, so make sure to tune in over there as we have a blast every single week, and that's a nice little precursor before you get into Hard Knocks tonight. So today wasn't really a great day for the quarterbacks. Supposedly Zach Wilson looked better of the two between Zach Wilson and Aaron Rodgers, which it's been pretty rare to get an off Aaron Rodgers day. I think he's looked really good so far through training camp most days, but he missed on a couple of throws. He was trying to go to CJ Uzomah off his back foot, got picked off there. There was one where Quentin Jefferson got his big mitt on the ball and tipped it up, and it was intercepted by a linebacker. I believe it was Zaire Barnes on that one. And it just kind of missed a couple of throws. Had Michael Carter on a short one that he missed, and just wasn't his sharp, normal self. And look, even for a veteran, sometimes that happens. Like, I'm not going to go nuts over it. He's been very good in training camp, and there's been days where the offense has looked really good, and there's been days where the defense has looked really good. Today was a defense day. You just chalk it up to that. You shrug your shoulders and go, hey, today was a defense day. But supposedly of the two, Zach Wilson built off a, pretty nice showing in his first preseason game. And what has been I would say, skewing towards good training camp. There's been not so great moments in both training camp and the preseason game and OTAs and so on and so forth. But, he's quarterback too right now. So like it or not, I know there's a lot of people who don't want to talk about Zach Wilson, want to forget him. And while obviously the focus is going to be on Aaron Rodgers, as it should be, Zach as QB2 is going to get talked about. And it's a good thing if he's playing well and performing. If he's here as QB2, or if he's traded, that just ups his value. So even if you want him off the team, him playing well only benefits the Jets. So, take some of the positives there. Another interesting note, looking at the offensive line, I think a couple of things stood out to me here. One was the battle between Becton and Micheal Clemons. Supposedly those guys were going back and forth all day. And for a majority of it, Mekhi Becton was winning that battle, except for the last rep. He being Micheal Clemons, was able to beat him around the edge, but Becton holding his own against Micheal Clemons is a good sign. Jets offensive line has kind of struggled against this defense, which makes sense because the Jets have a top 3 defensive line in the sport. And at the absolute best, the Jets offensive line is probably around middle of the pack, which is we would like to see improve, but there's a little bit of a variance there. And Mekhi Becton holding his own. We will see how much he plays in both the training camp practices with Carolina later in the week and in that game. He only had 7 offensive snaps in the first preseason game against Cleveland. Will that increase? I sure hope it does, because right now I don't think he's on pace to be a starter with how he's been repped out. And maybe if that, drastically improves here in the next 2 to 3 weeks, maybe that changes things. But, as currently constructed with no Dwayne Brown and a very limited Mekhi Becton, it's been a lot of Billy Turner and Max Mitchell. And while the Jets are very optimistic that Dwayne Brown will be back and you just plug him in at left tackle at that point, Becton, I don't think it's a lock that Becton's going to be the starter over there at right tackle. I'm rooting for him because I think he has the highest ceiling, but he's got to be able to prove that he could stay on the field, number one, and he's got to get his snap count up, which I think is even something that he would admit, going forward. And he looked good in the small sample size we saw him in Cleveland. We just got to see it over now a little bit of a bigger sample size. And something else you just absolutely love to see, Elijah Vera-Tucker had himself a good day, and he is just such a useful chess piece for this Jets team. They could play him on the interior, on the left side, on the right side, out at tackle. He's played 4 different positions in 2 seasons, really less than 2 years, because he only played half the year last year before suffering a torn tricep and being out for the season with the tricep injury. And I loved his feature on the first episode of One Jets Drive. We had our reaction to One Jets Drive last night in a live stream. Tonight we'll be doing the same thing with Hard Knocks, so looking forward to that. But AVT looking good, feeling good, things you love to see, because this guy is the best offensive lineman on the team, has the highest ceiling, and I think he has a chance to be a Pro Bowl or All-Pro caliber player. That's how good this guy could be. So, again, not the best of days for the offense. Kind of shrug it off. This defense is really, really good. Sometimes the defense is going to win the day. Sometimes the offense is going to win the day. So we'll keep a close eye on the rest of the week between the Jets practices with the Carolina Panthers and then obviously the preseason game on Saturday. We'll have you covered for that. But for now, that's going to do it for me. Make sure to like the video before you go. Subscribe if you're new here, and I'll catch you next time.